Judo versus wrestling. It's one of the oldest debates in combat sports. Two grappling giants that have produced some of the most dominant fighters in MMA history. Both require years of dedication, brutal training, and mental toughness. This is the toughness that most people can't even comprehend. But if you had to choose one, which martial art is actually better? Today, we're going to break down the history, the techniques, and the real-world effectiveness of both judo and wrestling. We'll also examine how they perform in MMA, how they work on the streets, and finally, why one of these arts stand above the other. Let's settle this once and for all. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. To understand these martial arts, we need to go back to their roots. Wrestling is one of humanity's oldest combat sports. It dates back thousands of years, appearing in ancient civilizations from Greece to Egypt to Persia. It was even mentioned in the Holy Bible. It was pure, raw grappling. No uniforms, no fancy throws, just two people trying to control each other's bodies and force them to the ground. Freestyle wrestling, the style most commonly seen in MMA today. This evolved from catch wrestling and folk styles that emerged in American Europe. It's always been about one thing: dominance through superior positioning and relentless pressure.
The history of jiu-jitsu or yawara. Huh. Wow. They dressed up in like Aikido kimonos with the big flowing pants. And the guy's like doing some weird sort of wrist lock. Go, stop scrolling. Go right up there. Was it? Like, yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, he's wrist locking and getting the elbow in a...
Yeah. Interesting. And then the other one, it looks like he's setting up a full Nelson.
Yeah, he has a half Nelson on one side.
And he's got an underhook on the other side.
Yeah.
He's gonna...
Yeah. Probably gonna spin around and slam him right on his face.
Yeah.
Judo, on the other hand, has a different origin story. It comes from Japan, evolving from the ancient samurai art of jiu-jitsu. But here's where it gets interesting. Jiu-jitsu was actually considered a thug's art by the late 1800s. It was practiced by gangsters and rough street fighters. Then came Jigoro Kano, a sickly intellectual young man who transformed jiu-jitsu into something revolutionary. In the 1880s, Kano created judo, known as the gentle way. And he repositioned it not as a method for beating people up, but as a form of physical education and personal development. He removed the most dangerous techniques, emphasized throwing and groundwork, and created a martial art that could be practiced safely while still being devastatingly effective.
We're using judo as a form of education. And
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a super cool story. And then he starts sending people all over the world to spread it. And so they go to Russia and then mix with Russian thing and they create Sambo. And then come out here and then with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when Maeda goes down to Brazil and all of that. So it's like that whole story, how it spins, is awesome. And then you end up with the joy of globalization, where like when you see like Hoist going to fight against Sakuraba and you have, you know, Brazilian dude trained in what originally was an Asian martial arts, transformed into this Brazilian thing, wearing a gi, going against Saku, who was more of a catch wrestler, who had studied more through Western wrestling a whole lot. It was hilarious. It's like you have the Japanese guy was a more Western wrestling background, and it's funny.
That is crazy. The Japanese, especially Sakuraba, were way influenced by catch wrestling, which is American folk style wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I didn't know that that jiu-jitsu was used by thugs.
Yeah, that was the part of the reason why it was crashing in popularity, is because
Kano didn't stop there. He had a vision of universal brotherhood and sent judo instructors all over the world. Judo spread to Russia, where it influenced Sambo. It came to Brazil, where it evolved into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Judo became an Olympic sport in 1964, and today It's practiced in 176 countries worldwide. This makes it one of the most globally practiced martial arts on this planet.
Table, let's go out. Yes, brother, go. No. He took only this table. Please go other table and because two goes right.
They knew that if they put me at that table, are you kidding me? I should have brought the gold medals. I'm just not that cocky. He had some fake medal made so he can wear it around his neck. Is this real life? Is this what people do? Henry. Did you have that gold medal necklace commissioned? Was that your idea?
What's the hardest thing a human being can do?
Judo Olympic champion?
I'm asking you. From all the sports that you know, what's the hardest thing a human being could do in sports? I can tell you right now, it could be 2 belts. It ain't this.
You control dudes on the ground so good, but in freestyle you don't have to control anybody on the ground.
But brother, no
Is
one
that from
is talking
Samba?
about
You know what I mean?
no.
Both arts have deep histories. Both have produced world-class fighters, but their philosophies couldn't be more different. Wrestling is about grinding, pressure, and breaking your opponent's will. Judo is all about using an opponent's energy against them, finding perfect timing, and executing techniques with maximum efficiency, with minimum effort. Let's talk technique. What makes these martial arts so effective? Wrestling is built on a foundation of relentless forward pressure, explosive takedowns, and suffocating top control. Wrestlers train to shoot for the legs, single legs, double legs, and they develop insane scrambling ability. If you ever watched a high-level wrestler, you know they move like they're possessed. Their conditioning is otherworldly, and their ability to change levels and explode into takedowns is unmatched.
You can't get too intense about it.
Right. That's absolutely true. And the guys I've seen, the top level wrestlers that I've seen, the discipline I came from, the guys who are super, super good, Cale Sanderson, that guy, it's like when he wrestles, I went down a rabbit hole watching his NCAA finals matches. He just looks fluid. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm thinking that intense, but when a guy at that level goes out and wrestles, he just looks like he's flowing. You know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be any tension in his body whatsoever.
The beauty of wrestling lies in its simplicity and efficiency. It's fluid. It's like water. Elite wrestlers like Cale Sanderson don't look tense. They flow from position to position, setting up attacks, chaining together techniques seamlessly. And the best part? Wrestling works whether you're wearing clothes or not. It's pure body control.
That calm. They have that there's a level that they've reached that very few human beings outside of wrestlers ever reach.
That's fascinating. Do you think that's changing now because they do have an outlet with MMA, which is great? Like they can go pro and become rich and kind of famous?
Some of them, but like Jordan Burroughs doesn't have any interest in fighting. Especially his wife doesn't want him to fight because he does make good money wrestling, just as an ambassador to wrestling. But I don't think they fall into the same pitfalls that a lot of the other fighters fall into. Like a lot of them, they just they get into fame and glory and all that shit. And Weidman never really got into that. He was just into smashing people.
Yeah, smash it. Yeah,
just
Khabib,
smashing people like Khabib.
I'm going to smash your boy.
He's the perfect example. Khabib's the perfect example. The guy drives a Toyota.
Yeah.
Okay, he's worth millions of dollars. He's the most dominant fighter in any weight class in the history of the sport, and he is as calm and as humble as can be, while also being incredibly confident.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that wrestling doesn't teach you, is how to finish a fight with submissions. Wrestling is about control and positioning, not about breaking limbs or choking people unconscious. That's a gap that becomes very apparent in mixed martial arts. Now let's talk Judo. Judo is the art of the throw. Judokas train to grip the gi, which is the uniform, and they use it as a weapon. They're looking for off balance in moments, that split second where your weight shifts the wrong way, and then boom, you're airborne and crash into the mat. Techniques like Uchimata, Haregoshi, and Seonagi are designed to launch opponents with devastating force.
Can you speak to that? What are the different styles of judo? So for you, you mentioned Uchimata, Taitoshi. These, how would you describe them? They're like these effortless, less lifting off the ground and power and like strength and explode, and more timing and position, movement, momentum, all this kind of stuff. That's more traditionally associated with Japanese judo. Because like for Japanese judo, the traditional judo, like you're supposed to throw people in a big way without much effort.
And of course, 1990, we saw the introduction of all these Eastern Bloc countries. You know, there were so many more. I mean, it was Soviet Union when I was competing. And then, of course, in 1990, everything changed. And then there were so many more of them out there, different countries where, you know, that their wrestling styles were introduced into judo. You know, put a jacket on them and let's get into judo. So judo kind of changed shape. It changed shape from this upright standing, you know, and having to know the technicalities of how to get a body that's weighing 40.
What separates judo from wrestling is the emphasis on leverage and timing over pure athleticism. A smaller judoka can throw a much larger opponent because the techniques are based on physics, not strength. And here's what many people don't realize. Judo also has a ground game. This includes pins, chokes, and joint locks. Before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu became famous, judo was doing submissions.
Well, what do you think about competition? Sort of there's been a lot of Olympics bring this out. There's been a lot of big upsets at the Olympics. There's something where people find something in them. I mean, judo is a different sport than grappling.
In judo, there's much more room for upset because a mistake in judo will have ramifications that will be felt within half a second. Like if you take the wrong grip in judo, you can be thrown in half a second and there's no recovery. If your two shoulders hit the mat with momentum, it's over, it's done. In jiu-jitsu, you could, especially in ADCC where there's no points in the first 5 minutes, you could get taken down and mounted by your opponent and still win. Like you can recover from a bad start. In judo, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, you get hit, there's no recovery time. You just get swarmed on. And jiu-jitsu is a much more forgiving sport where you can make a series of blunders.
One major difference between the two is the margin of error. In judo, one mistake, you're done. If you take the wrong grip, if your balance is off for half a second, you can be thrown and the match is over. There's no recovery time. However, in wrestling, you can get taken down and still fight your way back. Judo is less forgiving, which forces practitioners to develop sharper timing and more precise techniques.
You know, a guy standing over you and you're on your back, posting up, and you hyperextend his knee. It's just, like, judo is the best, in my opinion, for someone who's wearing clothes. You know, I think every jiu-jitsu guy would really greatly benefit from having a good comprehensive knowledge of judo.
How deep would you go?
Judo's a good thing to learn, man, just period. First of all, those guys are so freaky chimp strong. Some of the freakiest chimp strong guys I ever roll with were judo people. Because judo players, man, they're just everything is constantly this. They're constantly grabbing and everything is
the
hips
torque and rotation. Yeah.
There's so much explosive movement carrying a human body. Right? So they're doing explosive movement like sandbag training with another 200-pound person all the time or larger, particularly like women. Like Ronda Rousey, you know how goddamn strong that woman is? She freakishly strong.
Oh, I bet.
Because her whole body was designed to, you know, throw bodies around, throw a human body.
And let's talk about strength development. Judo players are freakishly strong. They develop what Joe Rogan calls chimp strength. Explosive rotational power from constantly throwing and controlling human bodies. Every movement in judo involves lifting, talking, and manipulating another person's full body weight. You're essentially doing Olympic lifts with a resisting opponent. This builds a different type of functional strength, and that translates incredibly well into fighting. So how do these arts stack up in MMA, the ultimate testing ground for martial arts? Let's be honest, wrestling has dominated MMA for decades. There's a reason people say that wrestling is the most important base for mixed martial arts.
And wrestling is the most important discipline for MMA, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's the foundation because the wrestler can dictate where the fight takes place. You know, if the wrestler chooses to stand, he can stand. If the wrestler wants to get back up, he can get back up.
Right.
And the wrestler knows how to take the guy down. Whereas, like, even though every fight starts standing up, and it's a big advantage for the striker while they're standing up, with the wrestler, if the wrestler knows how to strike, the striker has to think about two different things simultaneously.
Yeah.
Has to think, maybe this guy's going to shoot, and what if this guy punches me? What if this guy kicks me?
Right.
So there's like so many more options that the wrestler has, and there's that threat of the takedown that looms large that like paralyzes guys with anticipation. It's the most important foundation. It's everything in MMA. If you can't wrestle, good luck, because unless you can land a wild shot like Jorge Masvidal and Ben Askren, unless you get that wild shot off right away and knock the guy out.
Wrestlers dictate where the fight takes place. They decide if it's a stand-up fight or a ground fight. If a wrestler wants to take you down, you're probably going to go down. If they want to keep it standing, they have the takedown defense to keep it there. That control is huge. Fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov, Daniel Cormier, Cael Sanderson, Henry Cejudo. These wrestlers have shown time and time again that elite wrestling is a massive advantage in the cage.
Were the limitations of his body, because he started getting shoulder surgery and back surgery and knee surgery, and then it all started falling apart. But when he was at his peak, Chris Weidman was a motherfucker, man.
Strong.
Not just, but the mind too. It's not just the body. His body was surely strong, but his mind was just unbreakable.
Right.
He would break guys. You know, and Kane was the same way. Kane was a guy who broke guys, he would break them. Because I really firmly believe this to this day, that wrestlers, because there's no, like I had Jordan Burroughs on the other day.
Mm-hmm. He's a wrestler, right?
Olympic gold medalist, 4-time world champion, stud of a human being. And when you talk to him, you realize, like, he's just so exceptional in every way. And one of the reasons why he's so exceptional is because wrestling has no glory. Like, the people that get into wrestling, they do it because it's the pursuit. It's not like a Bentley and a mansion and watches and rings and all that bullshit. Like the glory is in victory. It's in the pursuit, and also in victory in the most difficult of circumstances, which is like amateur.
But let's talk about why wrestlers are so successful. It's not just the technique, it's the mental toughness. Wrestling is brutally hard. The training is so intense that it forges an unbreakable mindset. Wrestlers go through hell in practice, cutting weight, running stadium stairs until they can barely walk, drilling until their bodies give out. That suffering builds mental resilience that's almost impossible to break.
We were getting like major athletes. And I remember I interviewed Chris Weidman, and he was fighting... he wasn't fighting the other guy.
Anderson Silva?
No.
Lyoto Machida?
I can't remember who.
Luke Rockhold?
It might have been when he was fighting Luke Rockhold. I can't remember.
What year?
This was about 2015.
Was he the champ?
He was the champ.
So the odds are it's either Vitor, Lyoto Machida.
Vitor. It was Vitor. He was fighting Vitor.
Oh.
And it was the first time I'd like sat down with guys who were trained fighters, and the calm. It's just like a calm and a peace that like I was trying to put my finger on, like, what is that calm? And then I realized I get insecure, but I'm like got nervousness, and a lot of that is because I always in a situation know there's a probability that I could get fucked up. Yeah. Or if I walked around and I knew that 99.7% of the people I could fuck up, I'd be calm.
Well, Chris Weidman is calm like I would be calm if I was hanging out with 10-year-old girls and they were trying to tell me how the world works, and I'd be like, that's cute.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how the world really works.
Yeah, it's like that, yeah.
Especially when he was the champ.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was the champ, first of all, when Chris Weidman was coming up, and the limitations of Chris Weidman legitimately are the limitations of the human body.
Joe Rogan calls it the calm of a fighter. When Chris Weidman was the middleweight champion, or when Khabib was dominating his division, there was this unshakable confidence. They knew that very people on Earth could handle them. That calm comes from years of wrestling, from knowing you've been through worse in training than anything a fight can ever throw at you. But here's where Judo starts to shine. While Judo fighters might not be as common in MMA as wrestlers, the ones who excel with Judo are absolutely devastating. Ronda Rousey revolutionized women's MMA with her Judo. She would grab fighters, throw them to the canvas, and finish them with arm bars in seconds. Her Judo wasn't just effective, it was terrifying.
Constantly grabbing and everything is hips
torque and rotation. Yeah.
There's so much explosive movement carrying a human body, right? So they're doing explosive movement like sandbag training with another 200-pound person all the time, or larger, particularly like women. Like Ronda Rousey, do you know how goddamn strong that woman is? She freakishly strong.
Oh, I bet.
Because her whole body was designed to, throw bodies around, throw a human body. I mean, it's like, you think of weightlifting, right? Like, when are you ever weightlifting your whole body? Well, maybe if you're squatting, or maybe if you're bench pressing if you're exceptionally strong.
Or deadlifting.
Yeah, or deadlifting. Those are like the compound movements. But like curling or tricep, none of those things, overhead press, very rarely are you using your whole body weight that way.
I don't think it's advisable to do that with your whole body weight.
And your whole body weight is way more difficult to control because it's moving and resisting. And it's, try picking up a dead body, a person who's out cold.
Kara Parisian was another example. He would hit beautiful hip tosses and judo throws that left opponents stunned. When a high-level judoka lands a throw in MMA, it's not just a takedown, it's a concussive event. You're being slammed with a full body weight behind it. That kind of impact can change a fight instantly. And here's something crucial that many people overlook. Judo teaches submissions. While wrestlers are incredible at controlling positions, many of them never learn how to finish fights on the ground. Judokas learn chokes, arm bars, and leg locks as part of their core curriculum. That makes them more well-rounded grapplers right out of the gate.
A person who's out cold, it's fucking hard. You gotta scoot a person like if I had to pick up a dude who's 195 pounds and I had to pick him up and he's out cold, that's hard. You
now put 80 pounds of gear on him.
Yes. I could only imagine.
And guns dangling all over the place.
So with a judo player, imagine that, but imagine that person also resisting. Like they're some of the freakiest, strongest people in the world.
I just sit down when I start with judo people. I'm like, haha,
good move. Good move.
I watch them over in the corner and I hear just the whoosh. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down.
It's a beautiful thing to learn, though. It's a beautiful thing to learn if you can get someone that'll really work with you and who's technique oriented, not someone who just wants you to spar all the time. Because one of the things that happens with judo a lot when people are just getting involved in it, there's a lot of scrambling on the feet that could put your legs in a compromised position where your knee blows out.
How much, just in your time watching the UFC, how many of the takedowns do you see are judo based?
It's not that often, but some guys are really good at it.
The problem that wrestling has is that it is incomplete for MMA. You need to add jiu-jitsu for submissions, you need to add striking, and you need to fill in the gaps. Judo gives you throws, takedowns, and submissions. It's more complete as a grappling system from day one. Now let's get real. What happens when there's no cage, no referee, no rules? What works on the streets? Wrestling has some serious advantages in the street fight. The ability to shoot in, take someone down, and control them on the ground is invaluable. Wrestlers can put you on concrete and hold you there while you panic and gas out. That's powerful. But there are major problems with wrestling in a real fight. Firstly, shooting for legs in the concrete is simply dangerous. If you miss, you're eating the pavement. If you get sprawled on, your face is hitting the ground hard. Wrestling also doesn't account for weapons, multiple attackers, or the chaos of a real street encounter.
Whack! And the same thing, and the headache for a few days afterwards.
Dudes get wild when they try to get out of things, and that's a particularly dangerous move when someone's on your back and you decide to slam them into the ground. It's kind of a dickhead move, really.
Well, it would have been okay if I had had at least one post, but like I said, I wasn't thinking about that. That wasn't.
Was he standing? Did he try to stand?
No, he was turtled.
Oh.
I don't think I would crawl on somebody's back if they were standing. My game's not very advanced. You guys, your background, your jiu-jitsu is probably different than mine.
But even taking someone's back standing is tricky as fuck. Because they can just throw themselves backwards, and on concrete...
Oh, that's a game over.
It's a death sentence. I mean,
that's what I actually thought about that afterwards, because you will see people who, I'm here because I want to learn to protect myself in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had done that on the street and had my head cracked on concrete, I'd have either been waking up in the hospital or not at all.
You got to kick their legs out in those situations. If you have someone's back and you're standing... You gotta. I mean, the options that exist that don't exist in jiu-jitsu. One of them is you kick their fucking legs out. If you have someone's back, you actually kick their leg. You don't just jump on them with the hooks in on concrete. It's just too dangerous. Before you get to that position, you want to yank them and do something, trip them, do something to get rid of their base. But someone who's strong. That's so dangerous because someone who's strong can carry you on their back and then just throw themselves backwards. I mean, even hardwood floor, anything. I mean,
or even against a building or a car.
Man,
I mean,
anything. You want to get them to the ground. You want to get them to the ground or a standing guillotine. Like when you're in a front position, that's another one that's really fucking dangerous, man.
A guillotine?
Yeah, guys have gone for takedowns with guillotines. Like say a guy shoots in for a takedown, and a guy grabs a guillotine and pulls back.
Here's where judo becomes superior. In the real world, people wear clothes, jeans, jackets, shirts. These become weapons for a judoka. Every judo technique is designed around gripping fabric, and in the street fight, that's exactly what's available. You can grab someone's jacket or shirt and execute devastating throws. Think about this. When you throw someone with judo on concrete, it's over. A hard uchimata or a haregoshi onto the pavement, that person isn't getting back up. The fight is done. Judo throws generate massive impact, and on an unforgiving surface, that impact can be fight-ending or even life-threatening. Judo also teaches you how to break fall, which means you are less likely to hurt yourself if you get taken down. And because judo includes submissions, you have options to finish the fight without causing permanent damage. You can choke someone unconscious without breaking bones or causing brain trauma. Wrestling's primary goal is control. Judo's goal is to throw and finish. In a street fight, you want to end things fast. Judo does that much better. So we've looked at the history, the techniques, the MMA applications, and street effectiveness. Now it's time for the conclusion. Both wrestling and judo are incredible martial arts. Both produce elite athletes with unbreakable spirits. Both have proven themselves in competition and real fights. But if we're completely honest, judo is the better martial art. Here's why.
No, freestyle, hey. Judo after, judo's number 2 in Olympic Games. They compete 176 country.
What sport is king?
176 country in the world. No, brother. If you talk about this with my father, father go crazy. My father loves judo, but no, freestyle is a great sport. Judo, different level.
Look at my face.
Gentlemen, freestyle like bulls. But judo is like high level.
Go ahead, call me a girl.
Wrestling,
but this is my opinion.
Wrestling is king of kings, bro. In any sport, period.
Okay, what do you think? Judo? What do you want?
I have good idea, brother. We have enough place here. We let them go there, and we look what's better.
What do you think?
You know what? Let's move this table. Let's go out.
Yes.
First, judo is more complete. Wrestling teaches takedowns and control. Judo teaches takedowns, throws, and submissions. You're learning how to finish fights from day one. You're not just controlling someone. You're learning to choke them out or break their arm. That completedness really matters. Secondly, judo works with clothes. And in the real world, outside of MMA or wrestling competition, people wear clothes. Judo is designed around that reality. Every grip, every technique, every throw is built for fabric. Wrestling works without clothes, but add a jacket into the mix and the judoka has a massive advantage. Third, judo generates more impact. A double leg takedown is effective, but it doesn't have the same devastating power as a perfectly timed Uchimata or Seonagi. When you throw someone with Judo, you are using their momentum and body weight against them, creating a violent impact that can end a fight instantly. On concrete, a Judo throw is a finisher. A wrestling takedown is just the beginning. Finally, Judo is more globally practiced and accessible, with 176 countries competing in Olympic Judo. It's one of the most widespread martial arts on earth. That global reach means more innovation, more competition, and more evolution of the art. Don't forget to like and subscribe.